System Shock just dropped and it is absolutely awesome. Let's get into it. System Shock is an action-adventure game set in the year of 2072 aboard a space station in a cyberpunk timeline. You begin as an anonymous hacker, liberating some great technology, but during the job, an even better opportunity develops with absolutely zero downsides. Unfortunately, things don't go as planned and the game begins you waking up right after surgery. This game is a remake from the 90s and very much plays like one. Large, atmospheric, and very interactive environments. The focus here was on a great single player experience and it has achieved exactly that. Have you ever wanted to explore a space station and try to figure out what's happening? Then System Shock is for you. There is a late 80s, early 90s vibe, evident not just from the colourful art style, but also the entire story. Every element of the game also unravels at a more human pace when compared to modern titles, allowing you to truly be immersed in the setting. The gameplay is very similar to RPG titles, think Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Deus Ex, and of course Cyberpunk 2077, but on a more streamlined, action-orientated level. Game mechanics like stats, skills, perks, and weapon customization are also much more streamlined here than say what's in Cyberpunk 2077. This allows you to have more time playing and redirects the focus onto the action. All of the in-game menus don't pause the game, requiring you to constantly watch what's happening around you. There are plenty of gameplay choices and different ways of approach. Although the story is somewhat linear, it doesn't necessarily play like a basic modern title. The game takes place across the levels of a fully functioning space station, with each being unique in their own way. The story and setting are what truly makes this title so special. The 90s horror sci-fi vibe is excellent, with the game relying on elements of terror instead of those cheap jump scares. Hello Dead Space and Callisto Protocol. There is always an air of uneasiness and desolation wandering about the giant space station. And yes, the maps are extremely large and maze-like. The characters are also interesting, with a story that unfolds very chillingly, with plenty of high quality voice acting. The dialogue and writing are also at a high quality level. This title doesn't have any cringe in it. Now, not only does the game have the 90s aesthetic, but the gameplay as well, similar to the original Resident Evils and Metal Gear Solids. There are a lot of interactables here, there's tons of junk lying around which you can collect for materials, various types of vending machines and other machines that require the player to deposit coins in order to operate. Yes, all of these elements are extremely tactile, not just magically teleporting items into your inventory, but rather having them roll out the chute and you having to pick them up. The same tactile features extend to using items like medkits, applying body mods and other environmental interactables. Similar to the other 90s titles, the immersion and realism comes at the expense of the gunplay. Weapons in combat are more of a tool to achieve an objective rather than the focus, resulting in somewhat awkward, clunky encounters with enemies. And of course, this game isn't perfect. The overall graphics are somewhat strange. First off, the game fully supports NVIDIA DLSS. It looks amazing and runs great. There's absolutely no problem hitting 90 FPS at 1440p. The strange part is that the game went mid-fi. Let me explain. They added in lo-fi textures along with high-res textures, meaning that it has that retro pixelated look in some areas, but not others, but also has the latest graphical effects and technology. This leaves the game with a weird in-between of the latest graphics and the cheap bedroom indie titles. Not really a huge negative, but this is somewhat of a indie title. Just like the graphics, it's not an amazing big budget game, but also it wasn't made in someone's bedroom. The scale and overall design is above average for most games, but nowhere near as grand as say a Diablo 4 or even RE4. It does leave you a little disappointed, as you really wanted to do big budget things, but it sadly doesn't. Yet it looks like it definitely should and could. Although this is an action-adventure game, it does lean towards the simulator genre. Most of the gameplay leaves you feeling like a pilot trapped in a meat craft, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it may be too overwhelming for some more casual players. However, if you don't mind letting yourself go and delving deep into an experience, then this is definitely not a problem. Overall, this is an incredibly good title for those that want a truly dissociative experience. If you want to disconnect and immerse yourself in a sci-fi horror aboard a space station, 100% this is the game for you. If you enjoyed other games like Resident Evil or Cyberpunk 2077 but want a bit more of an immersive yet indie experience, then this is for you. This title is also completely finished and has no bugs or glitches that were noticeable. It's also reasonably priced at $50 USD, but should be picked up on a sale. However, you won't be disappointed at full price. The demo is also available completely free of charge, allowing you to test drive this game without any commitment. I'm going to be waiting for a sale on this one, but will definitely be playing it at some time in the future. And thank you again for watching.